All eyes are on Uriah Faber versus Francisco Rivera in the main event of A1 Combat 33. It's a combat jiu-jitsu match, but if you're an MMA head, know that we've got a championship fight coming your way on UFC Fight Pass as we see the A1 Combat middleweight king Nick Maximov defend his title. Nick kind enough to join myself, TJ DeSantis, and Johnny LaQuasto ahead of the fight. Nick, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No, it's our pleasure. You're a guy that you've only got 2 losses on your record. Unfortunately, they came in the UFC. You went 500 in the octagon. You seem to be a very aggressive guy trying to get back. You fought 4 times in 2025. This is your first effort here in the new year. What are the goals here in 2026?
I think this year it's more than just winning. It's just putting on a good performance and trying to get some good finishes under my belt. And I think that'll be the fast track to getting back into the UFC. Not just going out there and winning, going out there and really dominating people and finishing. So that's the goal for this whole year.
We live in a time now where I think it's harder to get back to the UFC than it is to get to the UFC in the
Mm,
first place. And I think that's
yeah.
where a lot of fighters sort of build their character. What have you learned about yourself as a fighter, not only just as a fighter, but as a person since getting released from the UFC and working your way to championship status here in A1?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely difficult. I think it's mentally harder than anything, right? Because it's like it's just about seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So when you're on the rise, and I think I was like 5-0 when I got a call to go fight on Contender Series. There wasn't much adversity to that. Whereas now it's like coming back from a big injury. You get cut when I don't feel like I should have got cut, and then winning all these fights, and then trying to come back. I think the mental part is by far the hardest part. Obviously the physical aspect, whatever, that's honestly easy. And fighting is honestly not fighting is just what you make it in your head. The mental part about really trying to still do this and trying to find that light at the end of the tunnel is difficult, especially when you get promised that, hey, after this next fight you might get a call, hey, after this next fight you might get a call, and it doesn't happen. It's a struggle. It's a mental struggle for sure. But if I go out there and keep winning, try to be undeniable, that'll be good.
Yeah, they say winning solves everything. Johnny, you've had a front row seat to watch Nick and capture this title. Now you're going to be there with me Friday to defend it. What has been your biggest takeaway from Nick's rise and reign here at A1?
Well, a couple of things. One thing I want to mention, what a lot of people might not remember is, Nick, you tore your right ACL and meniscus in the octagon. You still fought your way to a decision, which if that doesn't scream toughness and grit, I don't know what does. But the physical therapist in me wants to ask, you came back from injury late 2024. All you've done since then is gone 5-0. Finishes or not, you've been dominant. I've called most of those fights. To be honest, none of your opponents have been able to really touch you at all. But when coming back from an injury, you were out almost 2 years. As an athlete, physically is one thing. How long until after you came back did you really feel like, okay, I got it again?
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a good question. It took me really to start training at 100%. It probably took me like 15 months to really feel good, which is a long time as an athlete to not have your foot on the pedal and just go, 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 and then trying to fight after that was just even a more mental. It's weird as I get older. It's just everything's in your freaking head, man. And as I got older, I just realized it was like it's all just in my head, and I just got to be confident. In my physical therapy, my strength training for my knee, my rehab for my knee, everything. I just got to really believe in myself and what I'm doing, and believe that it works. There's nothing worse than doing something, and in the back of your mind, you're like, I don't even think this is helping me. I don't think this is working. Like, what's the plan here? So
Do you feel like at this point, this is the best you've ever been? Because judging by the fights that I've been watching, I would say yes. But then again, most importantly is how do you feel?
yeah, I feel good. I this fight I really need to emphasize putting on just a performance, not care. I know you got to win and everything, but I this fight I'm just not even caring about winning or losing. I just want to put on a good performance and be excited and proud of what I've done. My last fight, I think I rushed a little too soon from fight to fight. It was about 5 weeks in between. I still had a couple injuries lingering, so going into my last one, I felt just a step behind. Even though I won, I just didn't enjoy my performance and what I did. I didn't even watch the fight back. I was just like, I did not like that. So hopefully this one we had enough time and we just get things rolling. And if there's anyone I think that's a good person to fight, is the Buddy dude for sure. He's a good person to try to get a win off of. So
Let's talk about Buddy Wallace. Like you said, he's a longtime veteran. You've been on the Contender Series like yourself before. He's at a point where I think if he's going to make a run to the top, it's going to have to be now. And unfortunately, for him, for you, you're the guy in his sights. What do you expect from Buddy come Friday night in Sacramento? Is he going to, be chomping at the bit, or is he going to be a more, tactical sort of opponent for yourself?
yeah, I don't know. It's tough to really say, right? I think he's I agree with you. I think he's probably at his last run if he's gonna make it. He's just a little older. Um, but I mean, I think I'm a pretty tough fight to get back on that track if you're gonna make it to the top. So I don't know. We'll see. I think he's gonna definitely gonna come. He seems more like a brawler type, and I think he's gonna come out trying to really brawl and maybe even take me down or something. I don't know. I think he's gonna try to make it ugly more than anything, and try to take me out. So we'll see. I'm anxious. I'm excited because people with a lot of fights like him usually come out a little different than they how they used to. Just that experience, I feel like, makes people a little bit more think a little bit more, if that makes sense. When you're 7-0, you're like, what's the worst that can happen to me? Then when you got 20, 30 fights, you're like, shit, man, I got to take a step back maybe because this dude might crack. This dude might do this or that. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll definitely see on Friday. I'm anxious, more anxious to get in there than anything.
We were talking before we hit the record button. You're a guy on Tapology that's, listed as a NorCal guy, training out of the Nick Diaz Academy. That doesn't sound like that's necessarily the case. You're down here in Southern California working with a guy that knows what it's like to train champions to the very top, and that's Jason Perillo. What is your time with Perillo been like, and what has it done for your own personal fighting game?
It's been amazing. He's like a college wrestling coach, man. He knows what to say, when to say it. He's been around some of the best athletes, so he's very just knowledgeable on how people train and what people do. He understands the differences in weight classes. Like I train with Cheeto and McKenzie, completely different weight classes, and he understands that there's just different guys fight differently. They have different styles. 35ers go at it a lot more than an 85er might. So he's just got a great eye for the game. I think he has probably one of the best eyes in MMA that there is, especially from a guy that came from boxing, being primarily a boxer, to an MMA coach through BJ Penn and everything. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, man. He has a good eye for it. And then when it comes to like the technical aspect of fighting and boxing and everything, man, he it's just totally different. A boxer's punch is way different than an MMA fighter's punch. And just the way people move in boxing is a lot different than MMA. So I try to incorporate like boxing with kicks, if that kind of makes sense. I try to emphasize my boxing and then use my kicks and wrestling and everything behind it. So he just put a different mindset in my head the last few years, and I feel like it's all clicking, feeling better and ready to show what we've been working.
Before we let you go, not only do I appreciate your mindset, but the high expectations you have for yourself, because obviously every fighter wants to have high expectations winning in there. But thus far, every time I've interviewed you after a fight, no matter how dominant you've been, no matter how clear it was that you won the fight, you are never satisfied. I know I'm getting in that cage. I go, oh, Maximov's about to be pissed off again. And I truly appreciate honest. I love honest interviews like that because you are someone who knows you can consistently keep getting better. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, one time I think Pearl actually told me he goes, you gotta change your attitude and be happy and stuff because no one wants to hear an angry guy talk all the time. It's like I'm like, yeah, I get that. So hopefully I'll be happier this time around. I just try to think like, man, would that pass in the bigger leagues? Would this performance pass if I fought so and so? And I know that's a bad way of thinking, but it just kind of keeps you on your toes too. There's pros and cons to it. You know what I mean?
Well, Nick, we appreciate your time. Best of luck defending that middleweight title coming up here Friday night. It is A1 Combat 33. Of course, it streams live and exclusive right here on UFC Fight Pass. We'll see you in Sacramento.
Hell yeah. See you guys in a couple of days. I appreciate it.